And that way we can post it to our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. This is our meeting for November. I am under the assumption that we're probably not going to have a meeting in November or December, excuse me, because of the holidays and everything. And we'll be doing a virtual activity for the whole school. So I think this is actually going to be our last PTA meeting for 2021. I want to start, like I always do, by asking Mrs. O'Shea to just sort of give a general update from her and the staff.
Okay, welcome everyone. I am happy to tell you that our school continues to grow. We are getting more and more students, and there is something that the superintendent is going to do. We are going to have a elementary fair, and I think what's happening is that parents, no matter where you live, can choose to which school you would like to go to. So it's something that is kind of scary in some respect, and also very exciting in other respects, where parents can choose to have their children attend any school within Norwalk. I'm thinking that's what it is. We have not gotten a lot of information about that.
Can I add to that, just because I was in a meeting last night and they spoke about it.
Okay.
So Rob Pennington spoke about it on my SpedPAC meeting, and he said it's going to be in January, and it's mostly for incoming kindergartners, much like you said, where they can choose, you know, see all the different elementary schools and what they have to offer. They're going to be doing this not just for the elementary schools, they're going to be doing this for the middle schools and high schools as well, was my understanding. And there is a choice program. There always has been, but I think they're trying to promote the options more than they have in the past, which is nice. But yeah, like you said, it can be a little scary because we might have an influx of people.
Right. They've had the high school one already, and it's because the high schools have so many different pathways. You know, the middle, Norwalk High has their own pathways. McMahon has a different set of pathways. So you know, parents right now, they're looking to make Wolf Pit a visual and media arts, visual and theater art school, which goes into Nathan Hale, which has a program like that. So I think that's the idea behind it. But it'll be very interesting to see how this all turns out. But it is definitely in January, and I did not know that it was just for Mrs.
O'Shea, you're on.
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm sorry. So the other thing is that I was talking to the executive board about behaviors and about parents making sure that when they're walking with children, that the children are safe, that they're holding their hand when you're walking in the parking lot. I think that is the most important thing. And making sure that everyone is following the rules and that they are not dropping off before 8 o'clock, because we don't have anyone to supervise students before that time. I'm willing to answer any questions you may have. Conferences are coming up. Teachers are finding out about that before I leave tonight, about conferences are being held virtually and or in person. Parents get to make that choice. And that information is going out to teachers will be sending that information out shortly. Anything else that anybody has any questions about, I'd be happy to answer.
I might have missed this because I just joined. I apologize.
That's okay.
I saw a couple weeks back that they had opened schools back up to volunteers. I don't know if that's really true or not. I was wondering how that affects the Learning to Look program and if there are any thoughts on that.
So Sarah, thank you so much for bringing that up, because we had committee meetings on Monday, and we're trying to bring more joy back into the school. And one of the things was asking about enrichment programs. And I know Nancy Lamb reached out to Jen and the person in charge of enrichment, and trying to bring those back in. And the question was, and I was telling the leadership team, you were thinking about doing Learning to Look for grades 2, 3, and 4. Was that it?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
if
so I did bring that up. So I just received a permission slip Now, this is the other thing. Would we be doing, would we be going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in the end run? Is
So
that the
that
goal?
is up for discussion. I think that was the goal, but we had also before COVID talked about a different museum, but because I haven't been part of Learning to Look yet, because I have a third grader who, we skipped it last year. I don't know if that changes the entire curriculum. I'm happy to do whatever is easiest this time around.
I have not yet reached out to the Metropolitan Museum of Art to find out if they can do like a virtual thing with us as a replacement for a field trip if we can't visit, but I was planning to do that as well.
So right now, we can request to go on out-of-state field trips. I just got the field trip form tonight. So it is a possibility. The teachers were excited about the possibility of those grade levels going. We're just trying to figure out if you have enough volunteers to make something like that work.
How many volunteers do you need per grade? Do you know?
Sarah, wouldn't it be one for everyone?
In the past, it was one parent per classroom.
Okay.
You didn't necessarily have to be a parent that had a child in a classroom. Like I did it for second grade after Daniel had gone to third. So it can be open to volunteers, across the board.
And a question was, would students need to be vaccinated to go on a out-of-state trip? That is not on the field trip form. That has not been, I don't know what New York requires. And somebody did bring that up yesterday, now that I'm thinking about it, in our meetings. We have to, Sarah, when you call the Metropolitan, you might want to find out what their status is for children under the age of 10, 11, whatever the oldest grade would be second, third, and fourth. We said, right?
Yes.
I think the Broadway said, like when I was listening to the news, Broadway said that kids age of 5 and 12, they need to show the proof of vaccination to go in the Broadway shows.
I just don't know like how museums are because you don't check in.
Well, it's probably the same because it's New York State.
I think it's everywhere inside in New York State.
In New York State.
The museums in New York are requiring the vaccination proof.
Yeah, I think that it's everywhere indoors in New York.
Okay. So that would be a big, we can't have, we don't know what children's vaccination status is. And I don't know, parents, I'm sure, have feelings one way, feelings one way, they have feelings other. So until the district requires something like that, I would not even touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I know they were also in lieu of the vaccination requiring a negative COVID test as of, I know Broadway was for last.
I think that would be too difficult.
Yeah, that's
to do with the group as a whole. But I commit to reaching out to them by the end of the first week of December, and I can get back to you with what the logistics would look like, what the options are, and then we can make a decision and kind of move forward from there.
Okay,
I think that would be great.
Good.
Thank you. And then when does Learning to Look actually start? I know it's the spring semester, but when in the spring?
I think March or April, but I can't remember.
Oh, okay, great. So we have a little bit of time too.
I think it all would depend on when the field trip would actually be.
Okay.
Right. You want to back up how many weeks of curriculum you need before that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So Sarah, let me know what you need from me. I'm very new to that process. I would love to be a part of it and I will happily make it happen. However, we see fit once we get all the information. I just don't know anything about it since I haven't been part of it yet.
Sarah, would it be possible maybe to do a shortened version of that, of the whole curriculum, so that we don't necessarily do all of the pieces and we pick out the most important? I know way back when I was a fourth grade teacher, we did Learning to Look in fourth grade, and some of the paintings were more, the children were more interested in some rather than others. Yeah, so absolutely. I'm just wondering if we could
probably do whatever with it that we want. I think we can adapt it how we see fit and how we need to based on kind of what the end goal is going to be.
Okay.
And Sarah, if it does turn out that like the vaccine and COVID tests and all of that are required, which I'm guessing they are, we should probably figure out how we can adjust it to a different museum here in Connecticut.
And so somebody was mentioning the museum that I thought that was in Greenwich. They said that might be closed now?
It's closed just for renovations. In November of 2022. It will be open with the area's largest like gem and mineral collection and a really nice other natural history section. But right now it's extremely small what's available. You could consider the Peabody.
But this is
a museum, so probably like the Yale New Haven, something like
Yale New Haven.
Art, right.
That one's closed as well for
Right.
another year or so, I think.
Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah.
So somebody also mentioned the museum that was in Ridgefield, and I know they have art and sculptures, but I don't. Aldrich, is that the Aldrich Museum?
I believe it is, yes.
So that's what somebody also had mentioned, that one, because when we found out that we thought that the Greenwich one was closed, and then the one in New Haven was closed, and so they had mentioned the Aldrich Museum. And I know I've been there, and they do have they have art, but they also have mostly sculptures. So we could look into that as well. Someone also mentioned the new art place that's in Norwalk, but I think that's not right kind of up the alley that we're looking at. We're looking to find, because they have a revolving exhibits. So it wouldn't really be
great, but it's really, really tiny, like really tiny. You can do it in like 5 minutes. So.
Okay, so we'll see what Sarah says then, what she finds out, and we'll go from there.
Question. I would hate to be like the party pooper, but I think it would also be good to ask when Sarah calls, whether, it's New York, Connecticut, whatever museum, just what their policy is if something does change from one minute to another, because unfortunately, as we've seen with COVID, things could change. So they could tell her, oh no, for January, you could bring kids unvaccinated, no issue. And then come January 1st, they're like, you have to be vaccinated.
Right.
So I think we should be listening to both options, just because you might have a lot of parents say yes. And then once you say that, things could change. So just to keep that in mind, because, with COVID, nothing is written in stone, unfortunately.
Right. And Sarah, it'd be interesting to find out if they do have a virtual, field trip. Because then that would be wonderful if we could.
A good alternative.
Right, yeah.
And I think what I would be looking for in terms of that is, could they tailor that to our program really?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Of showpiece the pieces that we're looking for, or should we tailor our program to what they have available?
That's another thought too. And you know what? If we have to tailor it to what they have, then we could try to bring in Ms. Talbot and see if Mrs. Talbot does such great work, and she introduces the kids to so many different artists that it would be interesting to see if some of the work that the students duplicate, if there are any of the same art that they might have a tour of.
Definitely, if we need to edit the curriculum, I think that she would be a good resource to partner with. So I'll do that.
And then I guess this opens us up to asking about like the Connecticut Science Center and whatever else it is that the 5th graders do. And I'm blanking on it, but isn't it some farm or something? Or
5th grade is looking to go to Ellis Island, but we have the same issues with going to Ellis Island, but they do their unit has changed. So, but it's all about the immigration, and it would fit so well into what their curriculum is right now. But we'd have to, 5th grade and I will have to meet and talk about that.
All right, great. Anything else from Mrs. O'Shea before we move on?
Just to say that budget-wise, we do have money allocated for field trips, and we can probably add to it as those become more available, given the enrichment budget that we have overall.
Great.
Thank you. So that leads us right into the finance update. John, do you want to take it from here?
Sure. First, I will, we are required by state and federal PTA to do an annual financial review. The financial review this year was conducted by Tracy's husband, Matt. So I will read it into the record. they have examined the books of the Marvin Elementary School PTA and find the books to be substantially correct. There was there were $47,019.96 in receipts, $31,744.80 in disbursements, and it resulted in a balance on hand of $56,000 as of September 30th, which was the most recent month prior to them doing the review. And so that has been provided to the state PTA and just now read into the record, and I've fulfilled my fiduciary responsibility in that respect. And then so far this year, since September, we've really had 2 excellent fundraising programs. So thank you, fundraising folks, for assisting with that and working so hard to execute that. The mobile gas has stepped up again and was really fantastic again for the 2nd year in a row. So also thanks to that whole crew for really making a difference in what we've done. And that has set us in a good standing to be able to provide the kind of enrichment services that and support to the teachers that I know we've wanted to do throughout the year, and will allow us to continue to do that going forward. So far this year, we have already dispersed $4,000 roughly to the school, but we've taken in 10,000. So we will have that much more to disperse throughout the rest of the year.
John, can you give me an update on what came in from mobile and subway?
Yeah, so mobile and subway was $5,755, 5,500 I think for mobile and 600 for subway or something like that.
Kristen, I've been thinking about it, and I just, again, have not gotten around to it. But I wanted to do some sort of like big thank you card for them or something that they could display if they wanted. So I was wondering if you could maybe take the lead on that, because it's been in my brain for about 4 weeks and it hasn't actually happened. I can take it out
of your brain.
Thank you.
This is me taking it out of your brain.
Perfect. Thank you. I really appreciate it, because I feel so grateful to them, and I want to show them, at least in some small way, that we are appreciative. And it can even be something the kids sign or whatever is easiest.
We'll make it very elementary school cute.
Perfect.
And thank you to all the parents who utilized mobile gas that week or month, even with higher gas prices.
Right. Yeah, everybody needs gas.
Kristen was a really good spokesperson. She was selling it. Every person that went there, she was selling it. It was great. She honestly did a lot.
Kristen's awesome.
The time that I was there with her.
Oh, thanks. I was just one of several parents there, and I was not in a cow suit. So kudos to Kathleen's husband.
He loves it.
Nor was I in a cow suit. But...
Well, that's great.
Kathleen,
John, do you have anything
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kathleen. Yeah, I was going to say that at some point during the meeting. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Nope, that's it. That's it for me.
Great.
I assume that Kristen's going to touch on the future fundraising stuff.
She is, yes. So fundraising is next. Kristen, do you want to give us an update on where we're at with that?
Okay. Hi. Okay, so piggybacking on to John's finance update, we are moving forward from where we were in September. I had given you all an update at that point. And so since then, our September Spiritwear sale closed, and we had totals at that point. Cherrydale has closed since then. And just to give everyone an update, we had about $11,200 in sales for our Cherrydale fall fundraiser this year. And that equates to about $5,183 of profit for Marvin. So that was a successful fall. And right now we are promoting our pie drive from the marketplace. And just to give a little background on that, what the marketplace does is they're going to ship anyone who orders a pie. It will be shipped frozen to your doorstep. You would take it out on the day you want to bake it and put it in the oven. So right now we have about 15 pies that have been ordered, and we only just started advertising this about a week and a half ago. I'll do another plug or two before Thanksgiving. I know I haven't put my orders in yet, but hopefully it gets us a little bit more. And then as far as the Amazon Smile goes, that's always a really big fundraiser for us. Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't give like monthly totals on what we're bringing in. The last report they provided us is still dated August. So our totals are probably, I'm ballparking it in like a $1,500 range so far this year for Amazon Smile. But if we actually looked at the report, it still reports $927. So that's a quick update. Did I miss anything, Jen?
I don't think so. We're going to start talking about spring fundraisers, and we usually do the big a-thon. That will be TBD on whether we're doing a walkathon or a readathon or what the a-thon is. And then we usually do a plant sale. It's usually leading up to Mother's Day, and I think it usually corresponds with Teacher Appreciation Week, but again, that's TBD. It's usually outside, so there's a possibility we may be able to do that this season. And then obviously we have the book fair, which we will of course do outside again if needed. So there's that. But we will be talking about that coming up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to put in a plug for that, whatever, I forget what it's called, the food program where the pie thing is a part of, where you order stuff.
Oh yeah, Marketplace.
They ship very quickly and they have great customer service. I had an issue earlier when it was much warmer out with my package getting delayed and defrosted, and they replaced everything. So they're fantastic.
That's great. I'm going to order my pies. I don't even eat pie, but I'm going to order my pies after the meeting, I promise.
Yeah, you know, they have like 10 different varieties and they're all different than something I would make at home. I'm not a pie person either, but looking at it a few times, now I kind of want to order all of them. So it's a way to make things a little easier for ourselves when we're juggling everything heading into the holiday. And I think, you know, I'm always looking for ways to say thank you to people. And I like to try to make homemade meals for folks, but I don't have all the time in the world. So I've been ordering some meals from the Marketplace and just sending them to people. And that gets, you know, something off my to-do list and supports Marvin. So thanks for the plug, Sarah. And I do have to agree, everything that has come has been very well managed.
I have to say I'm glad that we did this, because from what I can tell, and Kristen, please correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't had to do a whole lot of work for it, which is nice.
That's correct. I think the important thing to note is it's never going to be a major fundraiser compared to like our a-thons or the Cherry Dale or what Mobile Gas is going to do. But it's a nice to have throughout the year, and they do their monthly themes, and they do provide a lot of the artwork and the reminders. They host our website for us. So yes, it's very easy from a back end perspective, but we're not going to be, you know, fully funding something that Marvin School needs because of the Marketplace.
And that's okay. It's good to have on the background though, I think, like you said. You have anything else, Kristen, you want to go over?
No, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Enrichment update from Lauren next.
Yeah, sure. So, gosh, back in October, we were able to get the kids outside and we did an assembly for K through second with Miss Karen's acting out. But now with the colder months coming in, we're going to look into some virtual options, both pre-recorded where the teachers can show them to the students kind of at their leisure, and then some other live ones too, so they'll make them a little bit more personal. Right now in the works, we are in communication with the CT Science Center, Hartford Symphony, Henry Jones, who's a local African drummer, and a program, Deep Play for Kids, which talks about some mindfulness and movement and some SEL practices. So I'm working with a leadership team at school to get some dates on the calendars to offer some kids some assemblies for the year.
Great, thank you so much. I know everybody's really excited about that, and teachers are excited about that, and I know the kids will be too. I know those of us who have kids in K-2 who did the Miss Karen thing were just like over the moon. I think any little thing we do for the kids this year, they'll be that much more appreciative because it's been so long since they've been able to do a lot of these things. So thank you very much. Erica, do you want to give a membership update, please?
Yeah, no, definitely. I was actually about to pull in, but I'll stay in the car so we can finish. So I know we spoke about it during executive, but I'm glad that obviously everyone is here. I am honestly at the point where I am open to anyone's ideas and suggestions. Jen and I have talked about it. You know, we obviously are so thankful for every single one of you that sign up year after year. But we would love to have new faces, and it just has gotten to the point where I mentally can't think of any more ideas to motivate the parents to want to sign up. You know, we have about 47 last time I checked, which was this weekend. And it's literally like the same numbers from last year. Last year around this time we had 50. So it's not that bad, but it's literally just the same 50 over and over. So I'm definitely, like I said, open to ideas if anyone can think of anything. Because the only option I have at this point is literally going door to door to ask the parents to sign up.
I don't know if this is an option, and I'm sorry, I haven't thought about it until right this second. Hold on. I know a group of parents in one of the Westport schools that I'm really good friends with the PTA president at, they do like a parent night. And I know we've tried to do this before and it was a fundraiser. But what I was thinking we could potentially do is have a parent night. It doesn't even have to just be parents. It could be a family night where we as a PTA, and John, tell me if I can't do this or not, we would spend some money to have, you know, pizza or appetizers or something. And the draw is that people would then come and sign up for the PTA and meet everybody. It would probably have to be outside somewhere where there's heaters, just for everybody to feel comfortable and everything. And even if we couldn't do it until the spring, I'd be okay with that because our numbers always tend to just sort of plateau or drop off this time of year anyway. But maybe that's something that we should look into.
I'll say I actually don't think I've signed up yet. And, you know, I know you had the table at the Halloween, the trunk or treat. And if there's something more accessible, even like a Venmo that I can do it on the spot rather than going in and doing the registration form, I would have done it right there.
Okay, so we have a PayPal. We don't have a Venmo because you have to have a cell phone in order to have a Venmo account, which is the dumbest thing ever. And I've looked into it a few different times. I know that something came across my desk the other day that you might be able to do a business one now, but I still think you have to have some sort of cell phone attached to it. And I was going to attach my own cell phone to it, but I can't because it's already part of my Venmo and they won't let you use the same phone number for two accounts. Anyway, I digress. I agree with you. I think we have a PayPal account. I think we can create a QR code. And I think, Erica, it would be worth, let's just go ahead. I actually still have some of them, but I will have Glenda do a printout, if it's okay with Mrs. O'Shea, to just send home. I know we were trying to do everybody virtually to sign up or get everybody to virtually sign up. I think with our demographic, it is always better to have the option for a paper sign up or a QR code. So I will look into the QR code because Lauren, I think that's a great point. And we will send out flyers. Probably not until the spring, I would think, because I feel like it's going to get really lost right now. But everybody who's on this call, I really, really encourage you to sign up. And we have the tiered system still. It's $10, it's $25 or $50. And if you do the $25 or the $50 ones, you get spiritware, and then you get more spiritware. You can sign up your spouse with you or your partner with you if you have one. Is that LaDawn? Hi, honey. So
you know, like you can reach out to your kids' friends and say like, hey, your kids' friends' parents and say, hey, you know, are you a member of the PTA? I was at the PTA meeting last night. Make sure you don't forget to sign up.
Yeah, we had talked about doing that, Sarah, right? Where we were going to do like a text tree where each of us texted like 5 of our friends. The problem is, I think all of my friends are on this call right now, so I would be texting the same people as usual. Ashley asked if we can walk the pickup line and speak directly to parents and ask them about signing up. I've thought about that, but I don't think people like me coming to their car. So, I mean, that just could be me because they know who I am and they know I'm going to ask them something. But, you know, we can definitely think about things like that. I think, again, because we're heading into the holiday season, we're probably going to have to wait and do some of these things in the spring.
I love that.
But the flyer and the QR code we can probably do sooner rather than later. I know I said maybe we would wait, but I think we can do that sooner rather than later. And we can always try it again in the spring if needed.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like I said, I mean, I am obviously thankful for like everyone that has signed up and is always in the meetings. But like you said, you know, it's if we were to send an email right now, it would literally be all of us who would respond and be like, hey, yeah, we're already there. So I am more than okay with the idea of the flyers as we have tried in the past, and the code that you just said, that's perfectly fine. Obviously at this point, we're just trying to find anything that does work and that will work. You know, it is obviously a tricky time with COVID and everything, but we'll see.
Erica, I think that you're doing a great job, and I am not personally worried about numbers. I mean, I would love to have more participation. I would love to have more people always. But, you know, I don't want you to feel like somehow we're failing, because I think every school is going through this and always does go through this. So, you know, to a certain extent, it's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately. With that said, though, we are going to be looking for a new executive board next year. And that usually starts in like, you know, April, May, that we start to talk about nominations and things. I will be stepping down as president this coming year. This was my third year. And as many of you know, I've kind of taken on a few other roles recently. One of which is Common Council. And so I'm really looking forward to helping the schools through that in a bigger way. But we are going to be looking for pretty much an entirely new executive board. A lot of the people who have been on executive board with me have been here the same time I have, if not longer, in different roles. And so really our term is only supposed to be up to 2 years. And so we have fulfilled that duty. It does not mean that I won't hold the next president's hand through everything next year as needed, or as much as they want, or as little as they want me to. But we really do need to kind of set the tone that I need to step back. And I think a lot of the other executive board members feel the same way. I've kind of held them hostage as long as I've been president to say that if I'm here, you're here too. So I would like to relinquish them from those duties. So if you are interested in executive board, I know a couple people have reached out to me. Please feel free to reach out to me sooner rather than later, just to get a feel for things. We have job descriptions for each of the positions, and you can be as involved or as not involved as you would like. It's really what you make of it and what you put into it, what you get out of it. But I'd love to hear your interest, and if there are any particular positions you're interested in, I would definitely put you in touch with those particular people at this moment in time. Let's go ahead. Tracy, are you okay to give like a yearbook photo update really quick? Because we are changing contracts next year.
Yes, we have a retake pictures for yearbook coming up soon. I forget the exact date.
December 3rd.
Yes, December 3rd. And then once that's done, we'll get all the pictures of all the grades for the yearbook, and we'll start putting that together. I know we have a lot of pictures from some of the activities we've done. We'll probably send out something to see if parents, you know, have pictures from some of the events. They can submit them, you know, through the Facebook email or through the Marvin PTA email. And what we'll do is get the yearbook together with a lot of the activities that have gone on and that'll still be going on, and have it out, you know, for the 5th graders and, you know, for everyone else to purchase.
So the 5th graders, for anybody who doesn't know, get a free yearbook from us as a PTA. So you do not need to buy a yearbook this year if you have a 5th grade student. If you have another grade student, then yes, they will be for sale, and we usually announce that in the spring And like anything else, there's a deadline, and we give you a certain amount of time that you can purchase those. We don't tend to purchase a lot of extras because it does come out of our funds directly, and then we're left with a lot of books. So I encourage everybody to just buy them when it's open. I know people forget those, so I always have a few left over. We are, Tracy didn't mention this, but Louisa, Tracy, and I have been in touch with Coffee Pond, which is a company we used to use prior to LifeTouch. We have not been super happy with the customer service at LifeTouch, especially during COVID. And so we were in a 3-year contract with them, and we are, that ends this year. And so we are switching to Coffee Pond again, which we had a very good experience with. This is kind of sad because we could have really used this during COVID. But COVID is not over yet. Coffee Pond does allow us to do outdoor pictures if we would like, which would be really great in a lot of ways. And they're just really, it's a smaller company, and they're much more responsive, and they have more yearbook themes, which is something that Louisa and I think Tracy will have a lot of fun with. And so we're looking forward to that. We are only going to sign a 1-year contract with them this time around because we do not want to be in a 3-year contract with anybody, actually.
Jen, I'm sorry,
yes.
can I just interject?
Yeah.
I do just want to mention, I don't know if you have a contact at Coffee Pond, and if you can just discuss this, perhaps it's the type of plan that they chose or level, but I am still waiting for our photos from CMS. I actually called them today, and one of the lines that I said was, everyone else who's used LifeTouch got their photos like within a week. We did our photos on September 21st, I think, and they still haven't gotten their photos.
Well,
so
I'll ask about that for sure.
The turnaround time definitely seems to be a lot longer, and you can't access them online.
Yeah, we have used them in the past, and we were really happy with them, but that's definitely something I'll bring up to them. I will tell you this, because I'm all about being transparent. LifeTouch has been non-responsive. They were rude, ill-prepared, sent the wrong number of photographers the day of picture day. They were an hour late. It put the whole schedule behind. Mrs. O'Shea, sorry, you're just hearing about this because I did not want to bring it to your attention because you were not there, and we handled it and it was fine. But it was a hot mess, and this is not the first time it's happened. And I wrote them a strongly worded email and pulled the plug that day, basically. So I hear you, Diana, and we will work with them very closely to make sure that that does not happen with Coffee Pond. But LifeTouch is just, and then one of them got into an argument with one of the teachers. I mean, it was just bad. It was real. And I was standing there and I was like, no. I was like, this is not happening. So I hear you, and I will, I'm making note of that because we have a rep that we talk to, and I'm going to make sure that they are aware of that. And I'm actually going to ask them where your photos are from CMS.
I did call today. Thank you, though.
Oh, you're very welcome. Did they have a response for you?
Yeah, they still don't have them, but they're coming.
Okay, I wonder if it's like a supply chain. Maybe they're on one of those like tankers out in the ocean and they can't get on a truck or something like everything else.
It's possible.
PSA, like, get your Christmas shopping done, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. So in lighter news, we are going to have a holiday virtual get together again this year, like we did last year. We have chosen a craft that is non-denominational. It's just a winter craft like we did last year. It's different than last year's craft because I don't repeat things like that. So what we're going to do a little bit differently this year is last year we made 408 packets of everything. And if anybody knows my husband, that was one of the times I thought he was going to divorce me in the past year, because everything was all in our house. And then we had just come off of Halloween. And if any of the executive board members want to speak up and agree with me on this, I was told probably 4 times last year, or I said 4 times last year, that we were never going to do 408 of anything ever again. And I think we did it 4 or 5 times last year. So I love doing that, but we're not going to do that this time. We're going to actually have a sign up going out for people to register. It's free. But we just want people to RSVP and say, yes, we're interested. You can attend the virtual event or you don't have to, but we will put together a packet for you with all of the materials for the craft supply, hot cocoa, and the information you will need to do the project, either on your own or with us virtually. We will have a holiday book read during the virtual get together, and we will have a special guest star, which is usually the Marvin Cow. I'm always there. I'm not a special guest star because I usually lead the craft, and we will be doing that in December, but the date is TBD right now. It'll probably be a Thursday early in December, and because December is like right around the corner, it's probably going to be like mid-December probably, and then it'll be at like 6 p.m. So be on the lookout for that sign up, please. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know, but everybody will get all the supplies they need in order to take part in that, okay? It was a lot of fun last year. If you weren't able to attend, I really recommend it. It was, you know, it was a good time, and it was something that I think the kids really liked too. Some other updates before we start to wrap up or get to questions. The Spiritware sale is coming to a close on Sunday, the 21st. So please place your orders before then, because once it closes, but we will open it up again in the spring. Tim at Nice Threads has said that everything will get here before the holidays. So if you are looking for a fun holiday gift for anybody, please do consider that. Picture retake day, just one more time, is December 3rd. If you are not happy with your children's pictures, which I am in that boat this year, you take the package that you sent or you paid for that was sent home, you send it back to school with them on December 3rd. And I would just let your teacher have a heads up before then that you are going to be taking part in retake day. Mrs. O'Shea, I'll coordinate with you because I haven't really talked to them about it yet, but I'll make sure we have all the details ahead of time. Spring event ideas. If anybody has any spring event ideas, please let me know. As I mentioned before, we usually do like a thon. We usually have, you know, that usually goes on for like a whole month. We usually have like a plant sale, but if anybody else has any ideas, please let us know. We also try to do a lot of like enrichment programs and or field trips if allowed. So, and then one of the things I don't think I've mentioned, but I am working on it, Mrs. O'Shea and I have talked about it already, is I would like to sort of do something big for the school before I leave as president. I just feel like it's important. And we have talked about doing like some sort of art mural or something in the gym. And that's something I'm putting together a proposal about and some examples for Mrs. O'Shea, Mr. G, and Ms. Talbot. Mr. G and Ms. Talbot also know it's coming, but we were thinking about asking like Five Fingers to come and paint it. He did something for Wolf Pit. And it would have to obviously be when the gym is not being used in the summer. So we have a short period of time where that can happen because we have camps and whatnot going on in the summer as well. And, you know, summer academy and things like that. So I'm in the middle of working on that. I have some examples I've put together. I'm actually going to see Five Fingers on Saturday, and I'm going to just sort of float the idea by him again, since I started talking to him about it a while ago. I asked Ms. Talbot to sort of work with him to figure out what the general like purview should be and what we can and can't do and what would work for our school. I'm thinking it will be something around like Marvin Stars or something, but I just wanted everybody to know that I'm working on that. And if anybody has any ideas or interests, please do let me know. The outdoor classroom, I'm putting a deadline on it because it's sitting in my driveway and the snow is coming soon. So I was able to finish 5 seats on my own yesterday. Wow. Which means we have 7 done plus some benches. So my goal is to deliver them the holiday weekend of Thanksgiving. So we basically have a little over a week. The Boy Scouts are coming tomorrow night to finish their part because this is their community service project, win-win for me. And I am really hoping we're in the home stretch of this. So if anybody, like I know Sarah and Lauren had come and gotten some materials, just shoot me a note and let me know the status of that. And if you need help, or if you need me to come pick anything up or anything like that, because then what we're going to need to do is move all of these very heavy logs to school property. We have to dig a small little, not hole, but trench for each of the stumps, so they don't rot and so they sit level. So we're still going to need volunteers. So if you are interested in this and you want to take part in it, now is your chance, because we are going to be wrapping it up before that first snow hits. But it looks really good, and I'm really, really excited to see it come to fruition. I'm sorry it's taken so long. It's totally my fault. I took it on at a time that I probably shouldn't have. But we will get there. And then finally, I want to remind everybody that the Thanksgiving notes should have gone home. We're doing a Thanksgiving note writing campaign again this year. And if you didn't get them, please let me know. But your kids came home with 4 little Thanksgiving notes that they can cut apart, color, and write. And I would really love for them to share that with a staff member at school before break next week. I think it just is another way, a very, very easy way for us to say thank you and that we appreciate them, and just make sure that they know we are here to support them. So if you need more, let me know. If you need extras or you didn't get them or whatever, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, okay? And that, I think, is it. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to go over? We always open it up to people at this point.
Jen, can I just say something?
Yeah.
I want to let you know that the Thanksgiving notes brought tears to people's eyes today. It was
really?
so sweet. Yeah, it was so sweet. Gloria got one, and she just, what somebody had said to her was just like, you know, how wonderful she was and the great lunches that she makes. And it just made her so happy to receive those. And I was talking to a 5th grade student outside, and she was saying that about how she had used up all of hers, and that she would be making me one tonight. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. And she goes, oh no, I have to. And so it's amazing that how students are taking this to heart this year, and more so than I've seen it in the past. So it's very appreciated. And we had no idea what you were doing, no idea, because you put them in the mailbox very quietly. And I was very surprised to get my first one this morning. And it was very nice.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. The reason it was so quiet is because I quickly did it because I felt really late to the game on it this year. And Glenda, the good witch of the copy center, if anybody doesn't know her, she's lovely. I had to go and actually pick things up from her because it missed the drop off, but that's fine. And Mrs. Descala was nice enough to help me staple everything yesterday. So it was my pleasure. I'm happy to. And then, oh, I totally forgot. I came up with this idea last night and I haven't done anything about it yet, but I really am on the hunt. And if anybody knows how I can do this, because I'm going to make it happen, I want individual pieces of pie that I can wrap and give to the teachers next week before Thanksgiving with cute little notes and stuff. So I'm either going to go and buy a bunch of pies and cut them up myself and put them in cute little boxes, or I'm going to find individual pieces of pies, but I am doing this. So if anybody wants to help with that, I need to do 80 of them. So, but it's happening. I've determined anytime I set my mind to something, it's happening. So you can't talk me out of it. But if anybody knows of anywhere to get individual pieces of pie, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be cutting pie this weekend.
I just text Dave to see if he can do it and how much he would charge us.
Oh my God, that's a great idea. I love Dave. I would give Dave money. And John, it's in my teacher support budget.
Okay.
Can I do a shout out?
Yes.
To our new nurse, Sean. I forget her last name.
Shauna. Yep.
Yeah. She was really nice. I called her on last Friday. Roland was out, not COVID related. And she checked in with us like that afternoon, which I thought was really nice.
She's really been great. She's been really wonderful. Mrs. McLean made sure that we were getting somebody that could, you know, fill her shoes, and she's been wonderful.
Yeah.
She's a little overwhelmed at times, but it's a big school with a lot of some health needs, and so she's doing a great job.
Yeah, it was really, I thought it was really nice touch.
Yeah, I have to say, I was sitting there yesterday stapling those pieces of paper, and I don't know how many kids came in to see her, but I was like, wow, she's busy. And Mrs. Guy was like, yes, she is, but she handled it so well, and she was so sweet to every child who came in. And Mrs. McLean had said the same thing to me, that she wanted to make sure we were taken care of, and I know she did a really great job doing that. We appreciate it. 2 questions that just came in from the chat. This is a good question and something we haven't talked about in a while. How come we do not have a room parent? That's the first question. I'll let you explain that, Mrs. O'Shea.
Well, we don't have room parents because we don't really, until recently, we did not have classroom, or we didn't have visitors in the school. So teachers could, if they want to, have a room parent. But you know what? It'd be something that there's not a lot of reasons to have a room parent right now. And I don't know why we don't have them. When I first came here, we didn't have them. When I came from Kendall, there weren't enough parents to be room parents. But when I taught at Cranberry, we had room parents. So it's just a thing that I think went by the wayside.
And Ashley, to take that a step further, what I've always done, because I always wondered the same thing, was asked, and they would always say, oh no, we don't need a room parent. But then sure as nothing, that teacher would reach out to me and say, do you want to coordinate this? Or do you want to coordinate that? Or can you help bring this? So I think just by reaching out to them, if you want to take a role like that, please, by all means do. I know that they will come up with something for you to do. But I think the last, year and a half, we haven't been able to do a lot of like get-togethers or parties. Like I remember in first grade, before COVID hit, we did like a book exchange between the kids, and they had a little holiday party, and it was so nice. And I'm really hoping we can get back to those things again, hopefully sooner rather than later. But that was something that like Diana and I coordinated together in Miss Lamb's class. And then the other question Ashley had was, do we have a winter jacket drive? And if COVID will be the issue, how can one donate to any child in need?
You know what? Somebody else asked me about coats, and they wanted to know what sizes we needed. And right now it hasn't been cold enough to figure out who doesn't have a coat. So what we do have is a variety of coats in a variety of sizes, and we match the coat to the student in need. So if you wanted to donate a coat, we could definitely take it and then find the student who needs it. We are getting, one of the things that I did not tell you guys is that we are getting, last week, 7 new students. I placed 7 new students. So we're getting a lot of new kids, and a lot of them are coming from, have not been in the school before. So it'll be a shock for them. 5 of the 7 don't speak any English. So I don't know what kind of, I don't know how long they've been in the country, if they know how cool it will get here. So it's going to be every year. It's depends on who's here and what happens. But if you feel like you want to donate coats, you know what the thing we need more than coats are gloves. Definitely, because when the kids, we like to go outside when we can, and a lot of kids don't have coats, don't have gloves. And today was the first day. Usually when we go outside for recess, I tell the kids, well, if your parent puts you in a coat to come to school, you have to have your coat on during recess. Today's the first day I said, you don't have to have your coat on, it's too hot. So any donations, if you want to send them to the school and to the office, please just go right ahead and do that. That's wonderful. What a wonderful idea.
Can gently used be okay too, or just new
Gently
ones?
used is fine. But okay. Diana, anything that comes in, we find children who need them. And we used to, how we used to have the gently used Marvin Spiritware? We still use that for children who need to have, who need a change of clothes, or something happens, something spills on them, or but we're just not, we don't advertise that very much, but we do have it so that if children are in need of something, that we're able to give it to them.
And Mrs. O'Shea, to dovetail off of what Ashley asked about the coat drive, I know in previous years, and I can't remember what we did last year. I do remember what we did for Thanksgiving last year, and I'm not even going there.
No.
But for the holidays, I think there was wish lists put together or something. Am I incorrect in stating that?
Well, we didn't do it last year.
Right.
We didn't do
it
it
was
last
the year
year
before, right?
So somebody asked me about the Thanksgiving baskets, and one of the teachers usually donates like 4 or 5 turkeys. I don't know how her grandma gets them, but she asked me last night, and I said, right now, with everything that's on our plates, I haven't even thought about that. But what we did decide to do the year before, not because last year we had the turkey from Pizza, where do we get it from?
Pizza Planet. It was from Dave at
Planet
Pizza Planet. He
right.
did the turkey dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then the years before that, we've always done, baskets. And then I think one year we decided, that's the year we decided, okay, I can't do this anymore. We were going to do gift cards for people who needed them so they could go. And then it became one of those things, well, can they get to the grocery store or not? So it's always one of those difficult decisions. And so I haven't talked to, I'm going to write myself a note, talk to Miss Ben and see if that's something that we're thinking about doing, because our partner in crime has retired. And so I'll have to ask and see what we're thinking about doing with that. And I'll let you know.
That would be great. And I think the same goes for if you need anything else, obviously, like hats, gloves, whatever, throughout the winter. We can definitely either do a drive, or we can come up with funds ourselves or something. So does anybody else have any other questions or any comments they want to make? Yeah, I would love to have. So Beth was asking about the Marvin Girl Scouts doing a winter drive. That would be great. We also have the Cub Scouts, so I'm sure they would be able to join together potentially. I think that's a great idea. In fact, Beth, I think Dory mentioned that this morning when I was walking with her.
The comment above that is about the enrichment programs, after school enrichment programs. We're not at the point that we're going to do them, but it is something that I have been trying to talk to with the After the Bell program, and really it's the Carver was doing something like that with 5th grade. So it's something that we'd like to get up and going when we know that things are a little better. But those after school enrichment programs were wonderful, and the kids really enjoyed those. So that is something that we have to talk about.
Sorry, I missed that, Agnes. It's a great question. Anybody else? You can use the chat, or you can just shout it if you want. Well, I'm really happy to see so many new faces. One of the things that has been, sad for me during COVID is not being able to actually like meet everybody in person. But I am usually outside of the school picking up my daughter in the afternoon. So if you ever see me, please feel free to say hi. Don't break any of the rules to do that though. But and I am always available via marvinpta@gmail.com. If anybody has any questions, I'm the one who answers that. And I'd be happy to hear from you. Any ideas we're always open to. And I'm really hoping you guys continue to be involved in whatever capacity works best for you. So please feel free to reach out. Happy birthday,
I have another
Kathleen.
shout out.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Kathleen. Sorry. But I wanted to do a shout out about Trunk and Treat. That was an awesome event.
Yeah, that went really well. Thank you for everybody who took part in it. Thank you for everybody who came. It was a lot of fun, minus, you know, the political thing that happened, but that's fine. Oh, Mrs. O'Shea, I didn't tell you about that either.
Oh my gosh. See what happens when you go away for a little while?
You were lucky you missed out on a couple of those things, though. We had the Republican mayoral candidate drop by and start campaigning, and I kicked him off school property. So it was not because he was Republican. It was not any of that. I want to just point that out. I come from a Republican family. It was not an appropriate situation.
Right.
He was unvaccinated and no mask.
He's unvaccinated and unmasked. Yes.
So oh no.
Reason. But it was not an appropriate time. Our kids have so few
opportunities,
joyful opportunities like that, and it wasn't the right time. And if you know me, you know that I do not. I campaigned, but I do not campaign at school. I do not bring it up, other than to say I don't campaign. But I don't think it's appropriate. I like to keep those things separately, and I think separate, and I think everybody else should too. So anyway, yeah. See all the fun things you get to do as PTA president?
Kicking people off property. Yeah, that's great.
Well, I was just like, what would Mrs. O'Shea do? All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to go over? We're going to open it up to any of the Spanish speaking parents now too. I see one person. You're more than welcome to stay, but if you have any questions, just reach out to. Otherwise, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.